So I've been playing Diablo 4 again. Uh, they recently released some patches in the past year and a half, maybe, since I've played it last, and I started to get back into it with the current season. And I blew through the expansion, which was pretty decent, as far as expansions go. But I got into a discussion with somebody on one of the forums, and they actually said that Diablo 4 was a complicated game. And I didn't take that bait, mind you. But after having played, games like, Path of Exile 1 and 2, and even Grim Dawn nowadays, I thought, like, this game's not really complicated compared to them. So I thought, well, what if we really, lean into that whole idea that Diablo 4 is overly complicated, and that we have to like decomplicate it, right? So I thought, like, an idea for a build. Why don't we make a build that is the least complicated, most minimal, and pathetically simple, basic build you can possibly make in Diablo 4 without needing to, like, push more than one button or do one thing, right? So that's what how they have those idle RPGs on Steam that you can buy where you, like, don't do anything and the game basically plays itself? Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to come up with an idea in Diablo 4 to make the perfect build for lazy people like myself. So I decided to go with the Paladin. Okay, now keep in mind, before we go forward with this video, this is not a powerful build. This is not a serious build. This is not a build that, is the greatest Paladin build that has ever been. It's probably not even in the top 100. It's just a curious build that fits the theme I'm going for, which is the lazy man's Diablo build, okay? So, it's not serious. It's not going to be powerful. It's not better than your build. The person watching the video, you're better. Your builds are better. Don't worry. This isn't going to wow you or destroy your wonderful characters that you have. This is just simple, okay? So I thought, okay, we're going to go with the Paladin because the Paladin has probably one of the best, at least in my opinion, one of the best basic skills in the game, and that's Brandish. Brandish has a special, has a special ability where you get an extra 2 arcs out of it, and it spreads out like the spread shotgun in Contra. It's like that. How in the spread gun in Contra everybody goes for that because it's like so ridiculously simple to use and you don't even have to aim. Yeah, that's what we're going for. We don't want to aim against enemies. We just want to hit a button and enemies die. So I figured, okay, we'll go with Brandish. We'll get the extra arcs. We'll go with the increased damage because we're just trying to get more damage. And the other modifier we pick is the extra 20% cast speed. So that way we have a fast and powerful Brandish. Now, since we're really just going for one ability, because like I said, this is supposed to be a very simple build, we don't really have to use anything other than Brandish, but since I'm going with the Judgment build, which will automatically mark all enemies as Judgment, I went with Blessed Shield because it bounces to enemies and will detonate Judgment. So if you do go up against a really large mob that your normal Brandish can't take care of, you can start throwing your Blessed Shield, and that'll do, twice as much damage to everything in front of you. So it's a good way to clear out troublesome mobs. I go with the damage bonus as the first modifier. I go with the casting speed. You're seeing a theme here. We're going with speed and extra damage, speed and extra damage. We're keeping this really simple and basic and stupid and lazy. That's what we're trying to do with this build. And I go with the detonating of the Judgment and the Ricochet because that just allows us once again to have more targets without us actually having to aim or make any actual effort on our part. The game sort of does it for us. Okay, and another thing is I also pick Holy Light as my aura. Now you might be wondering, like, Holy Light, that's the weakest of all 3 auras. Yeah, I know. at least some people think it is. It's just a constant damage field, but since we're trying to create a theme around this build that we don't do anything, and we just keep hitting one button and things die, this is perfect because it's an aura that you literally stand still and things take damage from you. How can it get, you actually don't have to hit a button. You can stand in the middle of an enemy mob and they take damage without you even hitting anything. So that keeps in line with our theme of wanting things to be lazy and stupid. So I went with the Holy Light passive, now targeting an additional enemy, which just means, less things for us to actually do in combat, and the extra potency bonus. And for the modifier, I picked Rite of Mercy because, once again, it just chains a couple more times and lets us get more hits in. So that's all we're looking for. Fast, frequent hits where we don't have to do anything. It's a very simple theme we're going with here. None of this really matters. I pick Aegis, but it doesn't really matter. We won't really be using it. And I pick Consecration because sometimes that is nice to lay one of them down and get that nice damage bonus. Because like I said again, we're not really trying to do anything. We just want lots of passive abilities and passive bonuses without us actually having to think or use our brain. Like, I want this to be the most mid-wit, low IQ build you can possibly make. But one thing I do get is I do get Heaven's Fury as the ultimate. And I put 15 points into that because that is my favorite one. Now, this is one of the rare times where you're probably going to have to hit a button other than A. So, sometimes you might have to, during boss fights, you may have to hit it. And I picked the modifiers, the light judging enemies, because that will just increase our damage. Heaven's Fury, extra duration of 4 seconds, once again, increases our overall DPS. And I do the one where it splits into 3 beams because, once again, that makes it so we don't have to move around and actually do anything. The game does it for us. So see, that's the whole, theme with this character, is the least amount of actual input from you as the player, making this game as simple as possible. So, as for Paragon boards, we'll just go through my Paragon boards a bit. I just basically pick Paragon boards that have bonuses to damage, like 30% damage to elites, 20% straight damage. You have 20% holy damage. You have up here a couple of resistant ones because they're part of it. But I basically go for glyphs or boards that increase damage. Like right here, I got the Sentencing legendary node, where judging an enemy causes them to take 90% more damage. It's easy. Castle is a very good one. I pick Castle because you deal 125% of your damage reduction gained from armor as damage. I mean, that's a huge boost. Once you get this, your damage is going to go through the roof, really. So that's Paragon, pretty cut and dried. You're just going for more damage. I think the real difference with this build, what really makes it stupid and simple, is that when you're masterworking weapons and armor, right, you want to basically go for damage. Notice how I have the bonus masterwork as damage. I have a 10% all damage multiplier and 46% flat damage. On my jewelry, I have the same thing. 11% all damage multiplier, 53% flat damage. Same thing, 53% flat damage, 46% flat damage, 18% all damage multiplier. I do get a couple holy aura bonuses, like I have one on my helmet and one on my armor, and I think I also have one on my greaves. So that's about like 35% extra holy light potency, which is the damage our aura does when we just stand there. But I make sure that all of my equipment has bonuses to all damage and flat damage. That way we're covered no matter, where we are in the game and what kind of buffs we have. The one thing that I did manage to do, and I'm going to show you what really put my damage over the top with this build, allowed me to get into like Torment 5 and 6, is I put +4 brandish on one of my armor pieces, which, is your basic attack that I told you want to do 99% of the time. And these, let's see, where is it? The charms, the new charm board that you can equip. I go with Iron Conviction, because Iron Conviction, if you get all 5 of them, and it shouldn't be that difficult. I think I was playing the game less than a week until I found all 5 of these charms, so it doesn't really take that. I have multiple sets of them drop, so it's not that big of a deal. It increases your aura potency. It allows your auras to gain all of their upgrades. Your aura skills no longer take faith to cast, and you gain a conviction aura, which increases the damage nearby enemies take from you for all sources equal to 0.5% your skill rank. Now, if you notice, my skill rank in my aura is 21 out of 15. So right there, that's a bonus of about a little bit more than 10%. That's a 10% bonus to all my damage right there, just a flat damage. So what does this mean with all this? We have all this overlapping damage, all this combat speed, all these things keyed into our auras. Well, it basically means that your character is the most basic bitch that you can possibly make in Diablo, because your core attack, Brandish, is going to do insane amounts of damage. So let's just do a Nightmare dungeon, and I'll show you what I mean. This is Torment 5. I can actually go up to Torment 6, I've been thinking about it. But like I said, this character isn't meant to be like the greatest build ever. I'm not trying to brag like, oh, this is... No. This is meant to be simple. For people like me who are stupid, who are lazy, and just want to hit one button 99% of the time and kill things. Okay? Very simple. So basically what you're going to be doing when you're in these dungeons, when you're in the game, is you're going to be using Brandish, which is your basic attack. Sometimes you may find a very large group of enemies that you can't really kill with Brandish, so you're going to have to throw your shield out and do the shield throw. Sometimes you'll fight a boss and you'll need to do this move. You'll need to do your Holy Light active. And that does around 2 million every second, so it's pretty, like I said, it's pretty powerful. If you look over at the actual damage that it does 419,000 damage a second. And my Holy Light Aura does 411,000 damage every 2 seconds to 4 random nearby enemies. And the lightning bolts themselves do 2.9 million damage per lightning bolt, so not too shabby. The Blessed Shield does a little over 1 million, and the Brandish does about 436,000, with the 2 additional arcs doing 804. Now, what this basically means is you're going to see the damage numbers go up. I usually hit in the ballpark of like 600,000 damage a hit to about 1.2 million with my Brandish, and that's just your basic attack that costs nothing to use. So you're going to see 99% of the time this simple build is just going to use nothing but the basic free attack. I'll show you what I mean. You see how that did a little over 1 million damage. You can just go through the whole game. Here we are on Torment 5, which, granted, isn't the, it's a high-level area. It's not like super elite like Torment 10 or anything, but you're still going through a very high-level area with enemies that have well over 4 or 5 million hit points. And notice, I'm not really doing anything other than my normal attack, and I'm melting through them like butter. I haven't done anything more than my basic attack. So, like I said, with this crazy, stupid build, you don't have to think. You can shut your brain off, and you can just go through the whole game doing your basic attack. I think it says a lot to be on Torment 5 and you're just doing your basic attack. It's incredibly boring, and some people would find a build like this absolutely infuriating and possibly insulting, and I wouldn't blame them for thinking that, because it is, but the whole point with making this build was I wanted to see if it could be done. If I could make the game like the very first Diablo, where you're just basically attacking and doing nothing else. The very first time I played the very first Diablo, back in January of '97, I played a warrior. And I used to get a lot of shit from my friends that I met in that game, because I would play a warrior and they all played mages. They're like, oh, the warrior is for stupid people that just want to do nothing to hit a button. And they were right. That's basically why I played a warrior. So this build is sort of like the Diablo 4 equivalent of Diablo 1's warrior. Notice I'm hitting around like 800 to about 1.2 million with this character. And I've yet to do anything except the basic attack. That's all I've done. No, I could throw my shield, and the shield does a lot more damage. Usually if I'm going up against a very large mob with a lot of elites in it, or shielded enemies, or I'm going up against a boss. Like, let's say this guy up here, right? Well, he's not that hard, so probably not a good example. But most enemies, you know, you can just go through with your normal attack and not even, you know, not even use any brain power. No strategy. And yes, I did this because I kind of wanted to prove that guy on the forum wrong, that Diablo 4 is not a complicated game, nor is it difficult. So yeah, it was kind of me being a smart ass too. Now if you're going up against the boss, you know, this is when I lay it all down. I'll throw the shield because it does more damage. And there you go. Now, with this build, you can get more juice out of it by making sure you get, like I said, flat damage and all damage multipliers on all of your equipment. I have most of it done already. I think my one ring here, I don't have all damage on there, so I can improve that. When you get to around Torment 5 or 6, you're going to be like nitpicking a little bit, because you just want to find things that increase your damage. That's it. It's, like I said, it's very simple. So that's basically it. That's my Diablo build, the ultimate lazy Diablo build. I think it's a pretty fun build to play. I mean, even if you're kind of against the idea of just hitting one button 99% of the time, but it's kind of funny, and I laugh every time I play this, because I just keep seeing that guy in the forum saying how complicated Diablo 4 is. So I thought, you know, my little pseudo-intellectual ass has to prove him wrong, so this was me proving him wrong. It is a fun build. Like I said, it's a fun build to play if you just like to press one button and shut your mind off and have some drool slipping from the corner of your mouth all day, sure. But I wouldn't recommend it for the experienced Diablo player, just someone who wants to play casually. It's not too bad. You can, this build here right now, I can probably go up to like Torment 6 or 7 and still do pretty well. But yeah, that's my lazy Paladin guide for Diablo 4. Um, Go ahead and make one, because it's kind of fun to just sit there and beat on one button all day, like the old days, you know. And if you don't like it, then you know, play something that takes actual brain power, like a sorcerer or whatever. But until then, I hope you all enjoy, and do check out Diablo 4. I'm not getting paid to say this, but the post game they have now is actually pretty good. There's a lot of really nice stuff. I've been doing the seasons with this character. I cleared the first 3. Now I'm working on the next 3. It's not bad. You know, I really like. I haven't really had to pay for anything. Like, I'm not paying to unlock this World of Warcraft crap. But a lot of the stuff in the season you can unlock just through, you know, casual play. And I like all the extra stuff they have in here now. Like, for instance, those charms are really nice. Now they have a thing where you can go into the I don't know what they call it. Like, you fight this constant wave of boss monsters, and you have to go through like 6 waves of them, and each wave gets progressively tougher. It's pretty cool. So anyway, yes, that's my build. I hope you enjoyed it. If not, screw you. But anyway, have a good day, and I will see you guys later.